At On a Divine Note, we explore a wide range of topics that nourish the soul and body.
From healing and wellness to relationships and spirituality, we dive into the mind, self-care, trauma, love, and so much more.
Join us as we create a space for growth, connection, and holistic well-being. Welcome to On a Divine Note.
Hello, and welcome back to On a Divine Note, another episode today. So today we actually have a special episode. We are going to be discussing peaceful healing. I know that you all always hear us talk about peaceful healing. In our peaceful healing class, we learned this, or peaceful healing has taught us this. So today we actually are going to be discussing with one of our own, Rabiyah Jordan. Rabiyah, my mother. Naya's
My cousin.
Yes. How are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm
Y'all doing
excited to
good?
be doing this episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. I feel good.
Right, because you are the peaceful healing lady.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we talk about you being the peaceful healing lady all of the time, and just like different experiences that we have together that was curated in your class.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think we all thought it was finally time for us to actually speak about what peaceful healing is.
Yes.
But before we get into that, let's do an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Icebreaker.
What you got
Icebreaker
for us?
time. So let's see here. So if you wait, let me make sure I got it up. If you if you could be anything in nature, what would it be?
Ooh.
I'll go first.
Mhm.
So we were talking about this the other day, but
Right.
yeah, you told me about an evergreen tree.
Mm.
So I would be an evergreen tree, because they live the longest, right? You were telling me?
Well, yeah, that was my reasons why I love. Yeah. So yeah, you're saying
They
same way,
live.
yeah.
They live the longest. So I would be a tree just in general.
Yeah.
But Bia taught me about evergreen trees. Just because they live so long, and then they're just like constantly growing. Like that's literally all they do. They just grow and they move with the wind, which is how I want to live my life. Just going with the flow, moving with the wind. So yeah, it would be an evergreen
love
tree.
that.
That's beautiful, actually.
beautiful.
Yeah. And even just to piggyback off of that, and you're right, that's why I love the evergreen tree. Not even only that, if you watch all of the trees, their leaves go and they die, but the evergreen tree, it's just, we have one sitting in our backyard, and I always say, why don't this tree ever die? And I'm like, if I had to be anything in nature, I would be an evergreen tree. It's the fact that it weathers every storm.
Yeah.
From the snow, from the hot air to whatever it is, they weather every storm. And that's how I live life. I weather every storm. I kind of go through the storm and not run away from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
I would say that. I would say a tree.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all the tree.
You're right. You're over there with the tree in.
I would be a cloud.
Ooh.
Because I love to serve and I love to give. So watering the earth, giving people water, covering the sun so it's not too hot on our people.
Wow.
And then when the sun is supposed to come out, splitting myself away and revealing the sun and going to the next place that I need to be, which is I turn into mist and I turn into air.
Exactly.
So just like being everywhere and being of service to everyone, because that makes me feel happy, that brings me joy. And even in the storms, like when I am creating those storms, just noticing the good that it's going to create at the end, the rainbow that it's going to create at the end. So I'd be a cloud because I want to be everywhere at one time and help multiple people everywhere at one time and in different ways. So I would say a cloud.
That's actually
Wow,
really
that's
amazing.
beautiful.
Thank
That was
you.
a very creative answer.
Thank you.
Go to show that you love
I
Mhm.
Oh,
right,
Yep.
right? You love
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, because we
Everybody.
are love.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
We are love. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Lucy. Have you seen the movie Lucy?
Mm-mm.
You
It's a pretty older movie. Some years ago.
yeah, she basically she there was this drug that helped her to access like 100% of her brain.
Mm.
Mhm.
So throughout the movie, you see it at 50%, 60%, 70%,
Mhm.
80%. And when she finally reached 100% of her brain, she was everywhere.
Yeah.
She was everywhere.
Mm.
She was in
I gotta
like
watch that.
technology. She
Yeah,
was in
she
the
was.
sky. She was able to teleport places. She was literally everywhere at one time. She felt everything
Mhm.
Wow.
at once. And
Mhm.
yeah, and she lived on forever that way.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
We got a cloud and trees.
Right.
Cloud
Like
and
cloud and tree. Perfect.
trees.
Perfect.
You know,
And
that's
that
why
shit
we
works
mesh
so well.
well.
Exactly. It balances out for sure.
That's why we mesh together.
Exactly.
So, honestly, just wanted to start it off. So we know that you actually did do our your story time.
Mhm.
So we know where you came from. We know
Right.
your struggles, and we know how you came to be who you are today.
Mhm.
So we'll probably touch on some of those things as well today, but
Right.
specifically to peaceful healing, what is peaceful healing?
Peaceful healing is more than what I thought it was when I first started it. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Mhm.
Peaceful healing now I would say is a way of living,
Mhm.
but I use it as a class.
Mhm.
The reason why I use it as a class because that's what I feel like people could relate to more. Like I'm going to this class and I'm learning things from this class, but it's actually a way of living. It's a movement.
Mhm.
Lifestyle.
Honestly, what it is really what it is. It's not even just. It's not just about being. So peaceful healing is about positivity. It's about positive energy, vibration, different frequencies, love, listening, becoming one with yourself. All of those things actually is a part of healing. And you
Mm.
got to think about that.
Mhm.
So when we heal, we have to change what? Our mindset, right? So we have to start doing that. So you change your mindset, things in your body actually start to heal.
Right.
The brain has a lot to do with, the brain has everything. It's thought itself. So you have to be very mindful on what you think about and how you live and how you move and what you say and how you say it and who you're around or who you're not around, what you allow in, what you don't allow in. So the overall ultimate goal is to close the windows and the doors of the outside world.
Mm.
And the reason why you want to close the windows and the doors of the outside world is because too many distractions can come in. Okay? So you can be distracted by anything. And it could be small things. That's one of my practices is don't pick up that phone early in the morning. I've always said that to everybody. I say it to y'all. I say it to everybody else. Now, if your child is calling you, keep calling you, stuff like that, I get it. But when somebody call you all the time, they just want to talk. It's okay to talk to them. I'm not saying that everybody have bad energy, but you're picking up on what they're feeling,
Right.
especially if you're a vibrant person,
Mhm.
especially if you're in tune.
Mhm.
So I don't allow people or allow things to dictate my day.
Right.
So I stay away. I spend my time with God. I spend my time with the Most High, the Most High God, angels, all of the, I just spend my time with self and write down what I'm supposed to write down, breathe in what I'm supposed to breathe in, write, um, all of the breathing exercises, meditating, walking in nature, all of those things. So
Yeah.
peaceful healing is a way of living.
It's a way of living. So ultimately, peaceful healing is bringing the person, you help guide the person back to their true
Who they are.
self,
Self. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and um and you help them to not be so distracted by just outside things, and then
Mm-hmm.
you also show them how to navigate through life
Yeah,
and still continue to be themselves
exactly.
and not be so distracted. And even like you even said, you mentioned meditation and writing and journaling and things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. So even though we have our crazy life, we have work, we have
Yeah.
kids, we have our businesses, we
Yep.
have all these things, but you're showing us how to remain grounded,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
remain looking inward, and not distracted, not to get too far away and
Yeah,
distracted
exactly.
from who we are truly.
Right.
So, what does it mean to close the windows and the doors of the outside world?
That's a good question. Doing that it really means just that. When you're closing the door from anything, you're cutting out things that no longer serve you, grow you, nor make you happy. A lot of times people are dealing with things that no longer serve them, but they continue to deal with it. So when you start to close that door, it just means whether it's eating, like I know I'm not supposed to have that. I know it's going to hurt my stomach, or I know it's making me look a certain way or feel a certain way, but I'm still doing it. So that's a mindset,
Right.
So you start doing those little things, those small things. Um, People, if you ever have maybe have a coworker or been at work or just friends or family who every time you talk to them is always either about them or they going through so many things and oh this, oh that, oh this, oh that, crying and not to say it's nothing wrong with them um speaking to you about it, but it takes a lot out. It drains the person.
Yeah.
You ever talk to somebody or even have a conversation with someone over the phone or just even in person, and when you leave that conversation, you are drained?
Right.
That's what I used to go through. I'd be so drained from everybody else, and I can't even. Well, let's catch up. We catching up on your life, but we're not catching up on me because you didn't dumped on me. You threw up on me. Now I'm feeling all
I
that.
don't got no energy
I have
to
nothing.
talk
Right.
about me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So sometimes I have to close that door. And I can open it. I can talk to you from time to time. But then sometimes I had to get to the point where I had to close everything out because I was actually getting sick on the inside from just everything that was going on in the outside world. And that could be anything: jobs, boyfriend, kids. The kids don't mean to do the thing. They're kids. But at the end of the day, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
have to do it in moderation. You can, but it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
You can do anything you want, but it's not healthy to do things in
Excellent.
and yeah, exactly.
Right.
You want to do it in moderation. So when you do close the windows and the doors of the outside world, maybe take one thing: fast from something. All it is fasting.
Yeah. Social
Fast from
media.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then if you can do that, what they say it takes 21
21
days
days.
to create a habit. Do it for 21 days. Take one step at a time, and then you start to become more powerful within yourself, and you give yourself you feel so much better. You feel the energy. You feel so great within yourself. And you say, I, like you said, social media. I did social media for 21 days. Now let me say if I stop eating whatever it is that may not serve me, that I know that may hurt my stomach or certain things like that. You do that for 21 days. Everything is done in moderation, but then you find yourself like, dang, I really did it.
Right.
And some people can do it in a month or two. Some people have to take that year. But when you cut though, you got, what is it, 12 months? You got all that time within the whole year to just cut something out
Make small
for
changes.
21 days, a month at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
A
a good way
month
to
at a
break it
time.
down. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So why is it important to close the doors and the windows of the outside world?
Having everybody else's. First off, we'll just take most people go to work, you know, and there's a lot going on there. So most of the times when you're in that atmosphere, they're talking about stuff that just you don't even want to talk about. Whether it's a job, when you're on your lunch break, you don't want to talk about your job. Um, you don't always want to talk about that cheating husband or what the kids did the night before. Sometimes you just want to sit in your own energy. And it's very important to sit in your own energy and feel your own feelings and not have to feel everybody else's feelings and what they're going through and how they're going through it. And I'm not saying that you can't be there to listen to these people. However, that's not what you're getting paid for. That's number one. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're not a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing those things. You're not a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just sitting there just getting you become. I did it because I became ill. That was my reasoning for closing those windows and doors of the outside world. Because you become ill.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that you feel disgusting. You feel disgusting.
Yeah.
You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, like and just think about that all day long. I know somebody who say they will sit on the phone for hours, and I remember I will be that one. I had to get up in the morning and say the moment I wake up, I'm going brush my teeth and I'm on the phone with my sister. or on the phone with whoever else may be, my girlfriends, girl, this is what happened. That's what happened. This what happened. I'm like, dang, that's crazy for real. That already, and then you go into work and you got this person talking about this and talking about that. You did that for what 8 hours of your day? Some people 16 hours of your day, especially doctors.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or nurses. They in there for long periods of time. And then dealing with sickness and dealing with so many things, you like, no, you have to take yourself back because you're going to start to become, you are going to be drained. I don't care what people say. You know how people say, I'm just so tired. I don't know what's wrong with me. Girl, you need your energy back. You have been drained by some energy vampires. And they are draining and they are sucking the life out of you and you have no clue.
Right.
And this is everyday life.
Yeah.
And you just keep getting pushed back on the back burner, and that's how we lose ourselves. And that's how, when people lose themselves, that's why they go crazy.
Exactly.
That movie Straw.
Straw. I don't want to. The people who didn't see it, I don't want
to get no spoilers, but
ain't no
Right.
spoilers. But I mean, the movie Straw. That's how you
Yeah.
wound up killing people. That's how you wound up.
Snap.
it's such a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can only take but so much
Yes.
as people, and especially like you said, if we're not doing the things to nourish it and take care of ourselves, then it's inevitable. Like, you're going to snap.
You're going to, or it can be, I mean, even worse, you could cause sickness within your body. I mean, it's been proven that stress
Yeah.
and
Number one killer.
depression
Yeah.
and all of those things can actually have true effects on your body that
does.
create sicknesses.
Yep.
So it's actually like a life or death thing.
It is.
We think, oh, I'll do it later. I'll pray to God later. I'll meditate
Right.
later.
Yeah.
I'll write in my journey later.
Everything
I'll
is
check
later.
in with myself
Later. Right?
And you know what? It's so important. Like, even at the end of my nail tech, she said this, and me and her related to each other on this. And I asked her, because she was just she works so much, right? So sometimes she'll have my appointment and it's like really, really late. And I said, oh my gosh, I said, I know when you go home, you're gonna go right to sleep. And she said, no. I said, you're not? She said, no. She said, you know what I'm gonna do? She's like, I'm gonna watch my TV.
Oh.
She was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I said, you're not gonna go right to sleep. She said, no, because that's my time.
Yes.
She said, that's my time.
Yep.
She's like, I don't want to go to sleep and then I got to get back right
And
back
do the
up.
same
She's like, that's my
thing.
time.
Yes.
And that's me too.
That's me.
Sometimes, like, I just want to watch. I'm watching this show called Blind Spot right now, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, I just want to watch Blind Spot and I want to drink maybe some wine or just eat some chips. And I just
Yeah,
want to
just do
sit
whatever.
there by myself.
Yes.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
That is so true, because you got to get up and do the same
All
thing
over
all
again.
over.
Yeah.
And when we think about it, we work 8 hours a day, so
Yeah.
we really only get, in our weekdays, Monday through Friday, maybe like 3-4 hours of chill time, and then really not even that, because 2 hours of that is like showering. You got a kid, so
Yep,
you're
doing
the
all of
homework,
that.
you're getting him the shower, showering yourself, getting your clothes together for the next day. That's 2 hours right there.
Right.
Yep.
And then by then you got to eat dinner, cook dinner, eat dinner.
Eat that.
Then you exhausted.
Right.
So
then you
now you
exhausted.
sleep.
Exactly.
I be trying to keep my eyes open to watch my TV because I don't want to go to sleep yet.
Right.
I don't want it to be Tuesday yet.
Exactly, Naya.
Exactly.
Like, I'm
So
tired. I just got to
relate
Monday.
to that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And then if you're doing like we are, like we have other things on the
Oh
side.
my God,
top of
yes.
work.
Like I do vocal lessons after
Every
work.
day it
Yeah.
seems like you do
Acting
vocal
thing.
lessons.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then
Yeah.
if we're in shows and stuff, like it's always
There's always,
something.
And even like doing something as peaceful as meditating and journaling, even though it's so peaceful,
Yeah.
when you're so tired, that still like
something.
takes something out of you.
Yeah, it
You know what I
does.
mean? You still gotta push yourself to
Yep.
do that every day. Like, so it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
definitely
easy.
not easy.
It is
'Cause
definitely not
It's way
easy.
easier to just lay down and
It's
just
easier
get up and be
to
a robot and
do
do the
nothing.
same thing every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes it's easy to just do nothing
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
That comfortability.
Comfortable.
That comfortability. Yeah.
So what personal experiences led you to create peaceful healing?
Number one, I know I spoke about sickness before, and I said it in my story before, but sickness was actually one of the things that I had to. I look at it as a blessing because if I wouldn't have gotten sick, I would not have seen the light. And sometimes God will take things and will show you. And I always tell people all the time, either you're going to sit down or God is going to sit you down. And you do not want that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that all the time. And for me, I was doing a lot. I was a mother, but y'all were young. Y'all were, what was it, middle school and high school? Actually, at the time, was it elementary school and middle school, and in the same. So it was just like that. And we had so many different things that we were doing. I had to work full time. I had to do things with y'all. You were always in acting and singing, and Kevin was always playing basketball. So many things that y'all were doing, and I still had to have time myself. I was not just I like to party. I like to have fun. I wanted to do whatever. I wanted to just have fun. I didn't want to just always just be a mom.
Yeah.
And then I was dealing with someone, and that was a lot of energy in itself as well. And I gotten sick because I seen myself doing everything for everybody over and over and over. And y'all, when I say years of taking care of everybody else but myself.
Yeah.
And I watched myself do that. My girlfriend told me, she was saying, I don't know if you remember Takesha telling me this. And she said, girl, she said, you're going to kill yourself. She said, what are you going to do for you? Because she said, what are you doing today? What are you, what are you doing for yourself? And I said, oh yeah, girl, I'm going to do this, and the third, do this, that. And we're talking about the kids. She said, that's what you're doing with them. And for them, what are you doing for you? And I said, you know what, King? I don't know. I don't know. I live for them. My life is around them.
Right.
And when the sickness came, it started coming slowly. So I always tell people this. I said this in one of my speeches one time. Sickness always whisper. And if you don't listen, it gets louder. And then it's too late. It whispered many a times, and I felt it. I would be dizzy. I would feel headaches coming on. I would feel just sleepiness and tiredness. I would feel out of breath all the time. My heart will be racing. I felt like my pulse was just going. You know what I'm saying? Just overly beating. And I was like, something isn't right. And the same girlfriend said, Bia, you don't sound right. I said, no, girl, I'm fine. I'm just moving around here and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. She said, no, you're not fine. Something isn't right. And she was right.
Right.
And I shut down. My body just shut down. And I just remember just not being able to do anything. So all this stuff that I'm doing for everybody else, I wasn't able to do anything for myself. That's why sickness is so important. It's important for you for mental health and health, because once you're sick, you can't do nothing for anybody else anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to do for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought I had to do for my kids and then for myself. No, they're not going to have a mom if you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it was. So when the sickness really came on and I went into my first coma, and you heard me say first, I was gone for a while. I felt like I was gone forever. I don't even know where I was. I just know that I was gone. And that was the biggest thing for me, because I knew, like, I don't even know if I'm coming back. I don't even know if I'm coming back from this. I just remember opening my eyes, I'll see my daughter. I don't remember what she talked about. Opening my eyes, I'll see my son. I see his mouth moving, but I don't know what he's saying. Opening my eyes, I see my girlfriends there. I have no clue on what people were saying. All I heard was my girlfriend say, well, is she eating? They said she won't eat nothing. That's all I heard. And she said, you got to eat, Bia. You have to eat. I said, That's all I remember saying. And I was out again.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was out. And then is when I said, you know what? Something had to change. When I came from out of that sickness, it was the nature that kept me going. I started seeing things differently. I started hearing things differently. Anything that you could think about in this world that's important is not important. It's not important at all. Money, it's not important. Everybody feel like that's what money make the world go wrong. It's not important. What's important is when you on your deathbed, or I felt like I was on my deathbed and I couldn't breathe. What's important was me knowing that I was never going to see my kids again, not in this realm. and they had no clue. She was way too young. She had just gotten pregnant. She was having a baby at, what was you, 22 years old.
Yeah.
That was her first time. Everybody needs their mother around when they have their first child.
Yeah.
She don't know. My son, he was, doing things that he wasn't supposed to be doing. And I was getting ready to leave all of that behind because I wasn't taking care of me.
Mm.
But then when I started, the death is actually what made me live, because you realize things that you would never realize. You realize the stars in the clouds. You realize those are things that you appreciate.
Yeah.
You appreciate the way oh my goodness, the trees and the different sceneries and the smells and the water and waterfalls and you hear the birds chirping, but they sound like they're actually talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started living in my death. And when I seen that, I said, you know what? This is it. This is it right here. This is life. And I remember for a long time, I would just look up in the air, in the sky. And I said, why am I always looking up? And my girlfriend, and actually my sister, she asked me, my sister Danielle, Pop's girlfriend, she asked me, she said, sis, you always looking up in the air, in the sky. And I said, this is where I feel most comfortable. And she probably don't even remember saying that to me. But I always was looking up in the sky.
Wow.
And I felt like I was connected with everything there.
Wow.
It took me a long time to get back onto this planet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe it.
And that's exactly where that came from. So that's why, now, I don't know if that would be a question. I don't know if you want me to go ahead, but that's where peaceful healing came from. In that midst of that sickness, because I've been sick many a times, and I have seen the other side. The first time I don't remember seeing the other side, but the second 2 times I've seen the other side. And I just know that when I did come back, I always say it was like 1:51 a.m. and I forget the date, and that name came to me, peaceful healing. That's when it started, wholeheartedly.
Wow.
So when it came to you in a dream, right?
It was all in a dream.
So when it came, I have so many questions. But so first question is, so it came to you in the dream, what did it look like unfolding what that meant? Was that meditation? Was that writing? Was that more dreams? Like,
honestly, I cannot tell you. Because when I first seen it in a dream, it was just, you ever see a bus sign? You know how when it has like, the number on the bus and then it's like the words are going across? That's all I kept saying was peaceful healing. And I said, peaceful healing? What are you talking about? Peaceful healing? What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm saying that to God. Like, what's happening, right? In my dream, I'm saying it. And I woke up and I started scripting everything that I was told to do.
Okay.
And I was scripting like a crazy lady. I was writing and writing and writing. Like, what am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. And I still had questions. But the funny part about this peaceful healing been going on since 2018. And just up until what was it, maybe to almost 2 years now, is what I finally knew what it really meant.
Wow.
Because peaceful healing ain't no joke. It ain't something you go to a class and you good. Oh, no, you got to be ready. And everybody knows.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a healing.
Yeah.
True.
No joke. One of the hardest things you can do
in this world.
Yeah.
And do you when you explain it to people, because people get afraid or they have all these preconceived conceptions of and opinions of what peaceful healing is. They're like, well, healing, only God can heal, or healing, or can you say, what I mean?
Right.
Like, I know, people don't understand that God places people.
That part.
God places people to help you.
Yep.
So, God created the silent.
Yep.
God created you. So the further you get away from yourself, the further you get away from God. So if God is placing someone in your life, a Black woman named Rabiyah,
right,
who is teaching you how to become closer to yourself and become closer to God, and to heal yourself from the inside out. And when we say healing, we mean healing from traumas, from past traumas, healings from fear,
Yeah.
healing
Mhm.
from those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to those people, what do you say? And also, do you just say, hey, it's a form of therapy in the beginning, or
Right.
how do you explain it?
You know, it's
And
so
yeah.
funny about that, and I never say it's a form of therapy. I don't never say anything like that. I always tell people like this. Number one, I'm not a therapist, and I'm definitely not God.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that I was spoken to, and I said another thing that I tell people is, and even just a scenario. I'm gonna ask y'all this question: if an angel came and was sitting right next to you right now, formed as just like one of us, would you even know? Are you open enough to know? Is your ears open enough? Your eyes, your wisdom, your do
Mm-hmm.
you know when
Mhm.
somebody is really coming in and sent by God to help you?
Mm.
Right.
Would you know that?
Right.
See, people are against things that they don't understand.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I've been called a cult. I've been called evil. I've been called all those things, and all I do is laugh.
Yeah.
I said it's so funny that I'm evil, but I'm the happiest person out here.
Right.
How that work?
How was that? How was that? How was that the case? I'm not.
Right.
I said, I'm loving and I'm being loved on, and things are unfolded for me because I know for a fact I'm not what you saying I am.
Mhm.
That's your own demons.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
until you come to grip on who you are, then I'm going to stay away from it. God is only placing me with two people who actually need me now. At first, I was trying to run to them.
Yeah.
I don't run to nobody no more,
Yeah.
not a soul, because you know why? They're not going to understand me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So peaceful healing is not going to be something that you're just going to go into and it's going to be hunky dory,
Mhm.
you
Right.
know. And it, so many people quit. There's so many people that come and go because they cannot take it. So my answer to them is I am not any of those things. Either you try it, but you have to change your mind before you come into my class, because your energy, I feel it. What you think I don't see, I see it. And I remember a guy saying, I thought he was kind of funny. He said in one of my classes, he said, that girl isn't normal. And I said, well, what is normal? Is happiness not normal?
Right.
Or or am I just not normal because I see through you? Like, I'm trying to understand which
Mhm.
one. What do we today call normal?
Mhm.
Is it normalized because you have these issues, or is it, you know? So I say dig deep within, but you have to figure out what you want before you come to me, because you cannot just come with me.
Mhm.
And I know who I can and who I cannot teach. And I tell them all the time, once you get in tune and touch with yourself, you become so much closer to God.
Mhm.
Because what I said to you, listening, one of my things that says listening, right? I thought listening meant just not talk and listen to people listen. Talk to you and understand what they're saying.
That's
No
what I thought.
way in the world.
Yeah.
As I started doing it and I started meditating, I said, I know now.
Mhm.
I hear it. I see what you're saying. You
Right.
become supernatural.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
You
We
become
all become
supernatural.
supernatural just by healing alone,
Yep.
because you hear every single thing
Yep.
that the Most High has been speaking to you, but you ignore it because you're too busy wanting things that don't serve you on your deathbed. It don't serve you on your deathbed, because what you going to do with the money and the girls and all these things? What you going to do with it? Who's there for you when something is really going on?
Mm.
And I can tell you one thing, when stuff really happened with me, I had so much love from everywhere,
Right.
all over the world. I know
Mhm.
people everywhere.
Mhm.
How was Rabiyah doing? How was she doing?
Yep.
Because that's the impact that I have on the world.
Yep.
So you're going to have some that like you and you have some that don't. There's no in between with me. Either you do or you don't.
Mm.
And it has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to
Yeah.
do with me.
And I'll say a lot of people, like, what you're doing, it should be normal, but
It's not to them.
putting ourselves first,
Yeah.
loving
Yeah.
ourselves, healing from past
Healing.
traumas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
healing, and we know healing's is forever, so it's not like an
Yeah.
overnight thing, but even the process of that,
Yep.
um loving on others, being happy,
Yeah.
being
Yep.
positive, spreading love, those sorts of things, it is normal
Mm-hmm.
and it is a part of human nature, but it's been it's been brought to be and transformed to be the opposite of what is normal.
Mm-hmm.
And when you listen to God, when you pray,
Mm-hmm.
when you meditate, you have a direct connection with
Exactly.
God. So your relationship with God is deeper.
It is.
Your relationship with God is so when God speaks to you,
Mm-hmm.
so if a person comes in the room and God tells you something, because now you guys have that relationship, and God speaks through you, and that person's like, well, how did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And that person's like, well, how
Yep.
are you dealing with that?
Uh-huh.
No,
Yeah.
honey, I
I'm
have
just
a
telling you what I'm
relationship with
showing.
God.
Yeah.
I'm divine.
Yeah.
I have that direct channel
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the man above.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when he says something to me, I
Yep.
have to be obedient. I have to say it.
Right.
And you can take it or you can leave it.
Right.
So that's what he meant by
Exactly.
you're not normal. And technically in this world, we all
I'm
should
not.
be that way. But in technically in
Right.
this world, you're special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all are, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just the work that you're doing is so important.
So important.
And have you ever had times where you got discouraged?
Yes. Many of times I did, because sometimes I thought I was doing something wrong when someone, I've had students who blame me for their feelings
Right.
or their issues. And I'm like, it's so crazy because I'm just here to help you. And I didn't want to teach it no more.
Right.
But I said, you know what? That's not my student. You know, I'm not going to say everybody's going to come to me 100%, but you have to come to me ready.
Yeah.
You have to come to me open-minded and ready to heal.
Yeah.
It's
the main
And
thing.
so I have people that have talked about me behind my back. Well, they thought they were talking about me behind my back, but the crazy part about it is I just know so much. And I won't say nothing. I keep telling people all the time, and this is why they think I'm so crazy. I know what I know, what I know. I know what I know. So you can play these games, but I already know. But I'm not God, so I'm not even going to judge you. I'm just going to say that's I was, you know what? Let me say it like this. I'm trying to be very mindful of what I say. Your spirit don't like my spirit because your spirit is not always a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And only a collective is going to understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that.
Yep.
Your spirit is not going to like who I am because I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're vulnerable and you don't like that I see you. So you're going to blame me for every single thing that I said and I'm everything that's wrong when in reality I'm everything that's right. You just can't take me. Most of the times people can't take me. People will run, they will hide, they will not want to be around me. They will say I did certain things that I know I did not say or did not do because of them. It's who they are. And it's not. It's something that's attached to them. And
It's
why is
something
it?
that
It's
is
attached.
attached.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
was
why I
People
don't.
don't understand that either.
Yeah.
don't
It's
understand
certain
It's
demons
demons that's with
that
them.
they let in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's certain entities and spirits that they let in.
You have to be mindful.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful before you put anything to you. And the devil is ready and waiting for a depression, for an addict, for any addict,
For
whether it's
fear.
alcoholism,
Fear,
for
yeah.
fear, for doubt, all that. And if you ever listen to that book, Outwitting the Devil, if you never listened to that book before, if you never read it, read it. That is hitting it
book.
on, right? It's
Yeah.
hitting it on the nail.
Yeah.
And is that why you have so much grace for people, because you know that it's
I
not
know
them?
it's not them.
Right.
And I don't sit there and try to. God had always told me, you got to lead with love.
Right.
They're not going to. They don't know how to, but you do.
Right.
So if I do something, I'm punished for that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'm shown like you wrong,
Yeah.
and I know it and I feel it immediately. I say, dang, I should have did more. You know, I'm talking God like, dang, should I really did more? Like, but they did. But what did I tell you? You know better. And that's the stuff that I get. So peaceful healing actually brings you to a place of the knowing.
Yeah.
Of the knowing.
So a person like that, to say where your spirits don't get along for whatever reason, whether it be, that person has something in them or they're dealing with something darker, how do you approach somebody like that might want to be a student?
If they do, and I have had one or two, maybe like quite a few of those I did. God just tell me when it's time,
Okay.
when I'm able to. He'll say, out here, or is a feeling that I get. I don't want nobody. I feel like not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not time.
Mm-hmm.
And once I hear that, then I say, okay, I know what to do from here.
Right.
And I'll let them down easy, or I'll say, hey, not right now. I just, it's almost like I have to, like, things just start happening. Where I don't. It's almost like it's, I don't know, like the Most High make me not have time for them.
Mm.
Like, make me do other things so that way, because I am a person, I'm a sucker sometimes. And I'm like, well, I really want to help.
Mm-hmm.
Also, helping people has hurt me tremendously. And it
And I know that
always
too.
going to hurt me in the sickness. It never hurts me in the physical. One time it hurt me on the physical, once. But it always will hurt me in the sickness. Because everybody's, some people got some really strong and powerful stuff with them.
Yeah.
And so you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So even in this business alone, you have to be you got to stay prayed up. You got to stay very connected to all the protection, from not just God, is, the Most High God. You have your angels that's out there fighting for you. You have different light workers here on earth that's fighting for you. I don't care what you feel or what you believe. I don't care what you say. But when you know, you know.
Yeah.
So those type of people, God say, hey, no,
Yeah.
not right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
can't stand there and look at you, if I'm always walking away from you, it's because I see you.
Mm.
I see you.
Mm.
But if I'm sitting there and I'm loving your energy and I'm staring at you, it's because I really feel you.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I don't look at people.
Yeah.
I look at your nose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
That's
I
what I
will
do.
not look in your eyes.
You told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at your nose, but I will not look in your eyes
Yeah.
because I don't want to see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
It's empty.
Yeah. It could be
It could be
scary.
scary.
Very scary.
To see
When you
people,
see, oh my gosh.
truly see people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the windows to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at someone's eyes, you can
Mhm.
see everything.
Everything.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're really close to God and you're really
Mhm.
close to the divine, I mean, with you, I mean, with all of us, we have angels that are all around us. We have ancestors
Yeah.
who are all around us that won't let us go to that they're here to protect us. And then we have God
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
God
who
ain't
is
playing about us.
within us
Mhm.
Yeah.
and all around us
Yeah.
and there at our beck and call when we call.
Yeah.
So I think it's just so important for people to realize, all right, you think that your spirit is irritated, and I've had this happen with me too. There are certain women and men
Mm-hmm.
who are like, oh, Deshira, oh, I can't be around, I can't be around her, and they feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll
Mm-hmm.
feel uncomfortable, and I feel nothing but love for them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel no, and if I feel uncomfortable, I still give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, oh, well, it's probably just this. Like, I
Yes.
always give the benefit of the doubt because I know that I know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I believe, I know that at nature, humans, we all are
Yeah.
loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all are passionate. We're all empathetic. We are all God's children.
Yes.
And whenever there is someone who's tarnished
Mm-hmm.
and who's killing or murdering or
Mhm.
just nasty or jealous or whatever, I know that that's not them, and I know it's something that's
It's
deeper
something. Yeah.
Mhm.
than what I can see on the outside. So when they act out in a certain way, if they
Mhm.
want to cuss me out or if they want to do
Yeah.
whatever,
You can get
I know
free.
it's not them. The only place that I do get frustrated is when they do know that it's something more
Yeah.
and they don't try to help themselves,
Yeah.
because God gives us intuition. God gives us the answers. God
Yeah.
sends people. And so I get frustrated at the person who just keeps like, oh no, like God is giving
Yep.
you all these things
Yeah.
and you're just still not being accepting of it. God is literally trying to save you.
All the
Yeah.
time.
So that's where I get frustrated. But outside of that, like, yeah.
It's so funny, and I normally will not tell this story, but I would like to tell a story about what you said, how God sends people
Right.
to you. And I'm gonna tell you one that was still till this day dear to my heart. I was living in Florida, and I was working with at this company. At that time, I was in college, and you guys were babies at that time, elementary school and the infant actually in childcare, and And I would kind of work odds and end jobs because I was in school. And I had worked this one place, this job, and this woman came in, and she was just drawn to me. And I was always the person like, hi, hi, no matter what. Hi, how's it going? She was like, hi. And then she came to me. She said, um, she was like, she said, I have to talk to you. I said, really? Me? And she said, you have a lot of cats around you. And I was like, well, what do that mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like catty women or
Right.
cattiness, you know. I was like, what did that mean?
Right.
And at this time, I still was just, I would say I tried to fit in with the world until I got older. I wanted to not know what I knew. And so she came in. She said, come here. I need you to come with me on your lunch break. And I'm still looking at her like she's crazy, but everything in me was like, go out there and hear what she has to say. It wasn't a bad feeling. It was nothing. It was a good feeling. I go out there and I sit and she said, I want to sit in the car with you and I want to talk to you. And I sat in the car and she told me, she said, I have someone, I was shown some things. And I said, okay. So she said, it's a man here and he is an older man. And he says that he was an inventor on Earth. And I said, wait, what? I said, huh? I said, my grandfather was an inventor. He invented so many things, actually. He invented so many things. And I was like, yeah. And then there was another woman. She's another woman here. And she has on a white gown and there's flowers. And I'm like, my mother used to wear that gown. And it was like so many people that was on the other side. They said, you are about to go through it. And they said, but what your your destiny or your purpose or whatever it is you're supposed to do, you have to do it because you are the protector. So we need you to do what you have to do.
Right.
And I was just like, okay. So they said, you don't believe us. They knew I didn't believe them. I was kind of in and out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Said, it's going to be something really big that's going to happen for you. It's going to be something real big that's happening for you. It's coming up within in a little while, and you're going to come outside, and your car is going to have a flat tire. But don't worry about it. It's going to be someone that you know prior to who's going to come and help you fix your flat tire, and you're going to get to your destination on time and do what you have to do. And it bothered me and it weighed on me. And I was just looking at her like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm not that type of person like, oh, you the devil. No, because what she was saying and who she knew, I was just like, I have to just pay attention. Just let it soak in. Don't react to it. Don't do anything. Just do what you got to do. And months later, down the line, I was in school and I had this big fashion show that was coming up, and I had just was at my girlfriend's house. I was getting my hair done. I was so excited about this fashion show. I had just made it into the fashion show, and and I was going outside. I was running late for the event. She had just finished. I was going outside. I said, okay, let me go outside and go get in the car. Let me hurry up and go get myself together because my models was there waiting for me and everything. Go outside, and what? Lo and behold, I got a flat tire. And I said, oh my God, what's happening? Never thought and put two and two together.
I think about it
I never thought of that. That was like, no way.
Right.
So I go back into my girlfriend's house and I said, girl, I got a flat tire. I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So one of my girlfriends, her name was Marcy, she called me and she said, B. I said, yeah. She said, you got a flat tire? I said, yeah, girl, how you know? She said, because his name was Rob or something. Our old maintenance man, he said he rode past and looked like your car. Everybody know my car. I had a red Pontiac Grand Am, like it's a bright red car. I said, what? So she said, no, don't worry about it, B. He on his way up there to fix it. And I said, oh my God. I said, oh my God, this is so good. So Robert is someone I had lived in her court before, and I had moved up to another neighborhood. And it was a person who I knew from a long time ago, but would have never thought that he would have been there to help me out. He came and helped me out, and I got to the show, and I was it was on from there. And that was one of the things where I said, you know what? I'm show nothing and knowing at this point.
Right.
I'm in the knowing at this point because
Right.
I said you did exactly what you said you were going to do. And prior to that, a guy said you're gonna hit rock bottom, and I did. And everything that was shown, it was like people was coming to me. Another woman told me, "That's not your friend. That's that. This boy is cheating on you. This, that, and the third." And I'm like, y'all are sending me they was coming,
Wow.
and it was on Earth. And it was coming. And I was just like, what's happening?
Wow.
And it happened. And I thought rock bottom meant I was going to be homeless. Oh, no, rock bottom meant I was going to die. And you know what I'm saying? I was going to see some things and come back.
Wow.
And I said, wow. So that's what happened to me prior to peaceful healing. And just saying all that to say, we all have that gift.
Yeah.
And we all have to be open and have a listening ear to hear what's being said and shown to us. We all do.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to call it certain things. They're going to crucify you. They're going to say a lot of things. However, you have to just ignore those things because and everybody's not going to understand you. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. My last question, I know we don't got a lot of time, but when you found out exactly what peaceful healing was, did you do it for yourself before you introduced it to the world?
I actually did it with family members first. And it was just a thing, hey, meet me out at the park, because I was told to have it in nature, which was so weird. We had it in nature, right, y'all? We had it in nature. We had a waterfall. We had birds chirping. And I called as many people as I know. I feel like maybe 10 people showed up. And everybody who I invited, they showed up. And they said, at first I was doing it just because of you. But how this made me feel, I cannot. It's no way in the world that this is just from you for sure. Yeah, it's not, because this is real. There's no. And every class that I've ever had, I never created. I was being spoken through and spoken to each time. Every time I would go into meditation, I would always have something that I had to say to somebody. Every single time. And then I started doing it, practicing more in the recent times on me. And that's when things got really deep. Yeah. That's a whole thing I will never share, because, you know, I will be really crazy.
Right.
You can even feel, I'm sure you can agree when you're in the class, you can feel that it's from the divine.
Yeah,
You can tell that it's not like
it's not from me.
Man-created. There's so many classes where I can remember of just like feeling something just like open up inside of me, and just like you could feel the transformation. It's like very
amazing.
Supernatural.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's very and you know, people who are so worldly, people who are all like they completely ignore the spiritual realm. They're only here in the physical, and they're only like they're so deep in this experience. I can see why for them it would be like too much to just go straight in. Yeah. But people like us, I mean, your mom is freaking beautiful, and she's always had like a connection to God and things of that nature. And me growing up with the peaceful healing lady, so we're just different people. Yeah. But you can feel when you my mom to this day, when she tells me something, oh, I have a download, or share, I had a dream about you, and this is what the dream was. I listen because it's not just coming from Rabiyah. That is coming from God. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or whoever God sent. Yeah. So, I mean,
it's a blessing to have a angel in your life like that. That's able to just
do that.
Wow. Man, when they get a download about me, I'm like,
yes, hello.
I be looking for him. I'm like, yeah, you don't got nothing for me?
And I'm like, no, everybody swear I got something for him.
You got some what you dream about last night? Right. You know, like
literally.
So we're actually we're going to do peaceful healing. Rabiyah is going to do a peaceful healing class for us in part 2 of this episode. So we're super excited about that. So you can see real time what a peaceful healing episode will look like. Yeah. So, join us next week, for the peaceful healing episode. And we hope, that you all enjoyed this week's episode, learning more about
Yes.
Rabiyah and peaceful healing. So thank you all so much for just watching us, and remember to tune in
Yes.
next Wednesday for a peaceful healing episode.
Right.
Anything you all want to say before we continue our conversation?
Just remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe right now.
Exactly, in the moment.
In the moment.
And the only thing I will share is stay optimistic.
All right.
Love that.
Peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See y'all next time.
Much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and follow us on all social media platforms.